On this episode of Young and Gifted, we have two young gentlemen here. We have to my right, we have Cordell, and to his right, we have Kwamina or Akil. So Cordell, I know Cordell for years now. Cordell, we went to college together. You know, we discovered Migos together. Yeah, exactly. So to introduce Cordell would be something that'll be hard for me because I know so much about him. You know, I get to see him grow just as he get to see me grow from where he was to who we are right now, right? And he's actually the godfather of my daughter Jada, and it's good to have him on. So that's Cordell.
Godfather.
Right. And so for Kwamina, I actually put his name into ChatGPT. I said, you know, let me see what ChatGPT could do. This is what ChatGPT had to say.
Interesting.
Welcome back to the podcast. Today we have an incredible, talented guest who's been lighting up social media with his hilarious takes on Caribbean culture and immigrant life. You may know him as Kwamina Just Saying on TikTok, where he is known for shining a comedic spotlight on vibrant and relatable experiences of Trinidad and Tobago. From family dynamics to those everyday quirks we all recognize, he's got a way of making you feel like you're right there with him in those moments. With a following of over 80,000 on TikTok, he's connecting with audiences globally and reminding us to laugh at life's little absurdities. So without further ado, let's dive into the creative mind behind the comedy culture. Please welcome Kwamina Just Saying.
That ChatGPT, I want to say, I think they went convent because they use all the big words there, son.
Yeah. So one thing that I know I didn't mention before, and I forget to mention, so Cordell is the CEO, right?
No. So for the company, I'll be head of operations and procurement. So it's three of us. So it's myself, Nikolai, and so both of them have the two names. So we say Nikolai is one, and is one. So I handle operations and procurement for the company.
Yeah. Okay, and so one thing I did realize that when I was in Trinidad, we saw someone with the shirt going to Tobago,
Yeah.
and then Jada was like, "Hey, let's look Uncle Cordell thing." And then, that's when I realized that they have a branch in Trinidad too. So this is the branch.
Yeah, so Toronto, we like myself and the two Nikos, we handle Toronto.
Right.
So it's obviously it's under the umbrella of the same company, but we are satellite in Toronto. So we did Toronto first, and then we're gonna do other cities after. So
Okay. So you guys plan to expand soon, and this is Dirty Medics.
yes, it's Dirty Medics, just to make sure.
Yeah, and you part of Dirty Medics as well? Or?
Yeah, also do like the content creation. I would say vibes ambassador. Yeah, I could put that.
Yeah, that's a good word.
That's-
Yeah.
Like them
I mean,
unofficial title.
I feel like in the soca realm or industry, I think everybody need one of those, bro. I think every company need a vibes ambassador. Though. There must be.
For sure.
Especially throwing events in this city, like Toronto, Canada, like you have to make sure people don't get no dead vibes. You know, it's important. People, especially you migrate. You know, we'll talk about that just now, but it's important for the people in diaspora to feel a little bit closer to home if they come to your event. That's all right. If they have any business meeting, the first thing I tell them, I say, don't waste people's time. Make sure they have a good time before we come out to do anything or make any money. The vibes are important.
Yeah, that's
You understand?
important. And I know, like back in the day, you used to show your events as well in London, and it was like how do you think it was then compared to now? Do you think it was harder then compared to now? 'Cause I feel like now there's a lot more Caribbean people, but less Caribbean events. It's weird, especially in London. I could be wrong because you guys from Toronto, right? So, but what do you think about that?
All right. So what I will compare the difference is because those events you're talking about, that was 10 years ago. That was over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Even like the event that I worked with you guys on when we did Private Ryan, downtown London. 10 years ago is a different space for the most common thing for you to identify as social media.
Right.
So doing events back then, it was end all be all interaction with your crowd. You have to be upfront, you have to be speaking with them, you have to be meeting, you go your little get-togethers, you help other events and whatnot. So it's more now, you're behind a cell phone now. So your marketing is a little bit different. But what we try to enforce when we are doing events here is ensuring that we are still face to face with everyone.
Right.
So for instance, with the committee, we make sure we spend time with them, have a little lime, whatever the case may be. But to your point, speaking about the worry of having less Caribbean events, I think there's more in Toronto now, because obviously look at the city Toronto is, right? It's a multicultural community there. So there's a lot more there. When I look down here, it's lessening, but you have to look at the advantage. Look, London started their own carnival this year, right?
Yeah.
So I believe we're going in a direction where people are appreciating our culture a lot more. And that is something that, as Caribbean people, you want to push it. We don't want to force it onto you, but we just want you to understand, like, even with some of the music that you're listening to now, these pop artists are using instruments and the sound of the Caribbean to push their music, their agenda already.
Definitely.
So we want to continue doing that in our events, in our multimedia, with our influencers. Everything is just obviously just letting people know Trinidad and the Caribbean. You have to understand where everything comes from.
Yeah, because even in the entertainment industry, like one thing I think people take for granted a lot is the business side of it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
even like doing content creation and stuff. You know, people think it's just as simple as opening your phone and doing something, which is it starts like that, you know, but eventually become like a brand where you have to think about the brand and going against the brand and okay, I can't do that kind of content because that kind of content is just not me. You know? So like for you navigating and understanding business, because I know you grew up in like with like business and stuff, right? How you think it was different doing entertainment compared to like regular business?
There were their differences, obviously, because when you're in the entertainment business, a good way to say this is like there are a lot of times you're under the influence, right? So
a lot of times.
Yeah, there's a lot of times that you're doing that. So yes, you'll be meeting people, you're integrating with different teams and whatnot, but it's a more light-hearted situation where you're meeting people and marketing yourself, and even meeting, like if you go to a venue, if I'm going to see a new venue and doing a site visit, they're going to offer you beverages and whatnot. But in the real business world, you can still be that type of friendly, but
it's different.
It's different.
It's different.
It's different.
And what about you, Commoner? Like, how you think it is as a business when it comes to like content creation?
As a business, it's a tough one because sometimes you're on a slippery slope. Me personally, I could tell you, I can't speak for any other creator. Everybody niche is a bit different. Everybody have a different price. Some people look at followers, some people look at engagement. But for me, I go, honestly, maybe it's a bad business model to have, but sometimes if I see the value in something, I don't like to attach a price to be honest. Like, I just like the opportunity for me to even learn in that space. So obviously I have a set price for doing certain stuff like making the content, depending on what the content is for, if I have to host stuff like that. As a business, it's very difficult for me to convince people sometimes how serious a business is because of the subject matter. Because obviously I'm making you laugh, it's lighthearted. But when I'm probably in a more serious setting, it's kind of hard to navigate that with people to them to understand, well, he's actually a serious guy, you know? So it's tough, but I think if you stick by, what you value, what you're worth, people tend to either get in line or they don't jump on board. It doesn't really matter too much.
Definitely. Because so for me, like I used to do I started doing stand-up comedy.
Okay.
Right? But this was years ago. This is before my daughter was born. But when she was born, I kind of stopped because it was like I had to wake up early to write, then to go to do the barber shop, come home, then go to the comedy clubs, right?
Yeah.
And it was a lot. So then I decided to go into like writing. That's how I started writing.
Nice.
So that later on when I started to do it, I could go back to comedy.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like low-key I was kind of I wasn't as comfortable with being uncomfortable at that time, you know, and Like every time I go on stage, I had the
Yeah.
butterflies, and I
Yeah.
hated that feeling. So I feel like when it comes to the whole comedy scene, is that most people, especially for me growing up, one of the biggest reasons why for me growing up it was different is that
Mhm.
in Trinidad, I don't know what you would think, but in Trinidad when I was growing up, being funny was a weakness.
Yeah.
You know, being that funny guy
Yeah.
was a
It
weakness.
was. Yeah.
You know, it made it like a target.
Yeah.
You know, and so for me is a part of me that I really try to suffocate
Mm.
because I was like, you know, I don't want to be that guy that everybody could feel like they could ramp with.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So for me at that time I kind of break away from it. But for me being in the comedy field, I realized that a lot of comedians are serious people
Mhm.
and are very intelligent. Like they're some of the smartest people that you know, comedians. But coming through the phone or through a screen, it will seem as if this person is just a jackass all the time, and it's actually the opposite.
No, but I tell people up front, I am a jackass. I just went to school, so you know, it's perception. I meet people in Trinidad, like since I've been doing like content creation. I'll go home and they'll meet me and they'll be like, one lady told me honestly, sorry, but I honestly thought you were a backside. She said, you're very intelligent. I said, darling, I went to school. I pay attention in class. I just have a different way of looking at things, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, coming from Trinidad, what inspired you to start doing content creation? Did you start when you were in Canada?
To be honest, now I actually realized when I went back on my because my account is my account I've been using ever since I downloaded Instagram. I never changed the account. I never probably just changed the username. But I realized my first video I ever make is about literally going somewhere and I couldn't stand how people do control the churn in public now. But I used to be like, I mean, you know your child. I don't know your child. I come to buy a box of KFC and your child is literally misbehaving in front of me. You are ruining my KFC buying experience. So my first video was literally me sitting down by my back step saying, oh, it's a mind all the gremlins now. And I just saying. So then one of my friends was like, dog, you always just talking. I said, because, you know, so that's how I come up with the name Kwame, I just saying because I was just talking. So I actually really started doing more like the comedy, I would say more seriously during the pandemic, obviously. Because one, I was bored. Two, I couldn't what's the word? I needed a break from the reality that life was hitting me at the time. Because I find like life was going real crazy. Man was just dying. People was getting COVID. I was working in a hospital. I had co-workers come to work one day, next day they say, the man dead. I said, dog, what kind of thing is that? And I now moved to this country. And my first full-time job, not even a year into the job, COVID hit. And like, I couldn't work from home. And I was in an IT department. They wouldn't let me work from home. I was like, dog, we could do this work from home. I had to go to Toronto every day from Brampton. I take in the public transportation. It's only me and no one on the train. So I know all them little experience like them. It's hard things to tell people in life. But at the same time, it's our next day to come. So I always tell myself, as much as internally I might be suffering, it has somebody suffering more than me. So I think one of my first set of videos was just showing people like just me on the train, like going to Toronto. I tell myself that people in Trinidad who probably never even see the CN Tower. But because there are TikTok and the you know, the rightness of social media now, everybody could see something. I just wanted to share that experience with people, but obviously in a comedic way, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
At one moment, you doing your videos, you realize that, you know, this could be a good way for me to use my voice, and this could be onto something.
Me personally, I'll give you the honest truth. I still didn't have that moment as yet. What I always tell people when they probably ask me like, oh, we see that your page growing and stuff like that happening, I always thinking about it never enough for me in the sense of like the number or like right now a particular amount of followers. It's just getting better at the art form or just being better, just being able to, you know, meet people, connect with people. I think comedy is connecting with people. I see it like that. So for me, I just thought that I might have a skill that I could work on, but I still ain't sharpened the skill as yet. So I still didn't feel like I have something just as yet, but I'm building on the skill.
Definitely. But does it ever feel like do you ever feel like the pressure a pressure to
Yeah,
create?
man. Yeah, I feel pressure all the time to create, but for me, it's like I always tell this, like, nobody, I don't think anybody waiting on my content per se. They're just really happy to see it when it's presented. So I tell myself, if I present something that is of quality to me, people will feel it through the phone. Because there have times I post videos where I'm probably not in the best frame of mind and I'm just doing it because I feel that same pressure. And I can feel through the phone, people feel that energy off from me. I say, you see what I mean?
Definitely.
You can't go there with that kind of vibes. You're in charge of people lightheartedness, people leisure. You can't. If you put that energy there, they'll feel it. 100%. So for me, the pressure is not to hit a particular target or do anything. It's to feel as though the next piece of content is building into something bigger or better, you know? So
Because it's like going to the gym too, right? It's
that's
like
exactly what it is. It's flexing our muscles.
The more you go to the
I
gym,
want
and
them
stuff,
traps.
the-
I want them traps. I need
Yeah.
them traps.
Do you ever find yourself like writing though?
And now I try to write. I try stuff like on ChatGPT, but most of my best pieces of content or stuff that I come up with is me living in the moment.
Yeah.
Probably one of my most viral videos I ever make to this day is me. I leave the gym and I walk on the road and I see one in Canada goose. And in my head, I was like, but this thing is a flicking demon spawn, this damn Canadian Air Force turtle thing. And I just recorded the bird. And I went to him and I watched that video for about 5 or 6 times. And I come up with like a voiceover audio for it. Almost 1 million views.
Yeah.
Because that is in my moment, that's how I feel towards the bird.
Yeah.
I need people to hear my view on the bird. I have people tell me, oh, it's a bird, leave it alone. Like, you're not from this country. I say, hey, I never eat the bird and I pass the bird straight. That is Mr. Bird. You understand? But
So if you come to my house one time and I make a curry goose, you will eat it?
now I go try the curry goose now because here why. I sorry if anybody who love the Canada goose and thing, but I watch them bird look like they go good with a dal curry. They look like it's tough. Pressure cook it. It go be tough.
Or slow cook it or something, but we can make it happen though.
Yeah.
And I don't play with them thing, man.
Yeah.
Once I see them, I just cross and go on the next side. One of these days, I hope I get that moment to go close to when I record it. Tell people in Trinidad, no, we under attack from thing we just put in pot.
Yeah. You came to Canada, you say, right, 2018 and 2019. 2018, and then COVID happened right after.
Yeah.
Right? And then, so when COVID happened, you had to stay here.
No, well, I was already working, right? So I was already intending to stay. I was working on getting my PR and all of them kind of thing, like documents and all of that. And I was just saying, well, what's this thing? Am I dead? Because the way this COVID going, and plus I work in the hospital, I say, well, yeah, one of these days I go catch it. And I used to come home every day and be like, yeah, today is going to be the day. Because the way the hospital was moving, I didn't understand if the next day we'd have work or not. It was moving real grim. But from that time, I was just more concerned with my family and thing back home. Because I was like, wait, boy, if here, my shop without all people in Walmart, with this happening, extra foods in the shop, and was he fighting? You understand? So I don't know. I just keep myself busy, just working around that time. I just make like 3-4 videos a day.
Yeah, you see?
3-4 videos a day.
But I feel like COVID actually was a life-changing moment for a lot of people, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like COVID actually bred, I don't know how the stats on this, but I feel like COVID bred a lot of entrepreneurs too.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that time, you realize that you can't depend on your job as security no more.
Mm-hmm.
2 things come out of COVID, right? The most entrepreneurs and the most shitty doctors, because all them kids was cheating in school, dog. All them exam. But when you get older,
I
they talk to your doctor.
asked all my doctor.
During 2019? Nah.
You're taking all it. No, but I think that was a real thing though, They weren't hiring certain people in certain departments and job specs who did exams during COVID. They weren't.
I can't trust them, man.
You can't trust that boy.
When you write your exam, nah. Big next doctor. The oldest doctor you can find.
I want ChatGPT, yes. Let me ask ChatGPT, why is that going on my toe? Because you don't know for sure.
No, but also what came out of COVID, what I could add to that is that it also gave you enough time to actually find your pathway.
Definitely.
Find your goal, find exactly what you want to do, and you had enough time to sit in your room or reflect and find out, all right, I have all this time at home, but have no going out or doing anything. Let's just try and figure out what are we going to do to move to the next level to succeed, because it did for me, because I was still working and going to school at the same time. But as you said, there's a lot of entrepreneurs that's coming out, people just,
Yeah.
and then you're forced to be on social media. So you just see this influx of media personalities coming out. So
But I know it was the first time where, for me, the whole world was still, you know? So now you can actually sit and relax
Yeah.
without feeling like everybody moving on.
Everyone, yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, everybody home now. Now, what is the time for you to work on what you really want to do? Like, even during that time is when I really built a relationship with Jada, with Dot. Remember? Because before that, I would work at the barber shop from 9 till 10 p.m., 9 a.m. till 10 p.m., bro, every single day, you know? And then COVID hit, and you was like, oh, I was missing all these things within your family that you thought as a man your only value was where you could provide, you know? And then you realize that these kids that you have, even though you still have to provide because they still have to eat, they still really long for you being there as a dad. So being on COVID actually helped me be a better person and a better dad, a more understanding dad. Like, I remember one time I took my daughter to the movies and she was acting up. She would have been like 3 or 4. But she could always speak clear, ask Cordell. From the time she was 2, she could speak clear. And she was acting up, and I took her to the movies and brought her home. But her mom and they stayed in the movies. And she was crying in the back seat, and then she went quiet for like 30 seconds. Then she came up, she was like, Daddy. It's like, what? She says, you really broke my heart how you took me onto the movie today. You know? And as a father who, before her, I didn't really have that sense of emotions. You know? Because I don't know, it was just different for me. And then so when that conversation happened, I was like, okay, now I really have to watch the way I move. You know, so for COVID really helped me become better at looking at things from a different perspective. Because at any time, everything could be gone.
Yeah.
You know, and then if everything gone, you never know who you could become, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was a good side of COVID. And then it has so much other things that come out. So much people come to Canada. Now you could throw your parties. You know, like everything changed. The whole world changed, right? Yeah. So now in your parties, what do you think is the most difficult part in trying to remain consistent with like the events?
the only thing that would cause issues with consistency is basically, this might sound cliche, but coming from an economic standpoint, like it's not foreign. Everyone knows that everyone is seeing difficulties financially now. So if you're going to do events 3, 4, 5 times a year, you have to safeguard yourself in case that if you're aiming for these amount of numbers, there's a possibility you might be going under by 100 or 200 people, because times are tough, interest rates are skyrocketing, things are fluctuating with prices. So that, I think that would be the issue with consistency, because we won't see difficulties in the sense that if we have staple events and you're doing the same thing over and over, we completely digress from just doing repetitive. You get a venue, you get the same DJs doing that. We don't like doing that at all. So, for instance, we just had a small get together with some of the committee members yesterday, and we were speaking about the next event we're going to do. And explaining it to them is that we can't be the basic people just doing the same thing over and over. We have a theme that we're going to introduce next week. It's going to be more music fusion to understand. I don't want to sell it out too much, but there's no way for you to suffer about being consistent in this field if you're constantly trying to change the wheel.
Definitely.
You always have to do that. And you're authentic, because we're being us. But as you like, we were in London, and let's be real, London is house music. London is this Richmond Street and everything, but I could get a DJ to mix house music with soca.
So definitely.
So-
But I feel like the thing with London is that it not, bro. I made this joke at the shop all the time. Is that in London, you constantly have to choose if you want good music or nice girls for a single person. You don't get the both here, bro. The void, it's so huge in London because the people who try to take it have the wrong mindset, you know, and the people who have the right mindset don't know soca. When it comes to partying, bro, is that a lot of people start partying companies for fun, but it's not a fun thing.
No.
It's a business.
It's a business, you know.
Yeah.
So if you see it as a business, you're like, okay, what's the problem in London? We have no soca parties that good enough for me to be like, you know, I don't go out, you know,
Yeah.
but they have nothing for you to be like, you know what, this Saturday having Kess, you know. So London does have the void, bro, where it's like, if something wants to come to London, it would definitely hit. But you want to see it as a business. You see it as, okay, this is how we're gonna make money, not how we're gonna have fun. You constantly have to be thinking about new ways to change and how I could create more opportunities for us so that one day I don't have to make these opportunities, but that's come. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I don't know where you're trying to go into business or whatever. You know, so I feel like that's the issue with London, is that most the people who do it is like, you know what, I didn't want to do it in London. Don't make sense. But if it was happening in London, bro, all the time, like even like Trinidad music, you know, Trinidad music had these kids in a chokehold, bro. They come to the barber shop right now. They hear that, they go home, you see them posted, they'll tag us in it. They love the culture, right? It's just there is no outlet where they can go and feel
take it in.
safe
Yeah, to go and listen to that type of music.
for it, bro. Because everywhere they go, it's a dark corner with all the people in the corner looking grimy. You know, it had to be different.
Yeah, no grimy line. No grimy.
Yeah.
Well, what I would say, I can't speak for event managers and stuff for London because I left a while now. But I'm obviously in contact with a few people that are doing stuff here. But what I would say is that, okay, for instance, I'll use our company as an example. As I said, there's 3 of us. Everyone has their position to play. So I will do operations procurement. So everything, sourcing, venues, the contracts, all the stuff, I'll do that. Then we have one person who is in charge of the committee, outreach. So speaking with DJs and doing this and doing that. Then we have someone in charge of finances. So it's a business. So once you understand it's a business and it's not fun, you will prosper, right? And the next thing too is that how we'll ensure that we're not stagnant is that we're not just only doing events. You have to be integrated in other things that are involved. So like little sub parts. So like for instance, we have a bunch, like we have 2 influencers on the team. So it's Kwamina and Steph Rose. So we know that if they are working in a particular event, we'll be present, we'll support them, right? What we also start doing is media development. So we started little shows, little interviews, doing that. You have to keep growing. We're trying to build like a conglomerate. We're just not going to be throwing parties and just hoping for
Definitely
$25, $35 from people. That doesn't make sense. It's a business.
it's the bigger scale, right?
It's a business.
Yeah, and that's the thing is because one thing to talk about is even when you're not in that position where you're doing these things, the importance of thinking about when these things come, how we're gonna manage it. You know, so and you touch on a really good way to talk about us looking at different stuff, and even if we started small with the content creators and what they're doing, supporting them in ways where it could benefiting the team as a whole because they're part of the team. Like do you create content for the shell that you're in, or do you think like you create for the shell that you could become?
I think me personally, I create content for the shell that I want to be in, but the shell that I want to be in, it also determines on the person that I am.
Definitely.
But that could change. So I move, I guess, within a time. So for me, anytime I've been doing content, I've done a variety of content, but there are a couple of things I probably wouldn't do just because that is actually not me. And people who know me will be like, dog, you need to relax with that one. Like, that is not you. And they will call me out right away. And that is not people who I do not know. People I do not know can say whatever they want because they're entitled to their opinion. but the people I value, like family and friends, they come and pull me up about it, which I haven't been pulled up about in the 3 years I've been doing content. I would say I'm doing pretty good for the people I consider. You know, nobody can say, you know what, I think you're doing a bit much. I think I'm not. If they find the content is not funny or not, that's subjective, which is fine. They're entitled to that.
Definitely.
But to say they're disturbed or put off by when I make the content, I don't think so, no. So I make for where I am, where I want to be, and anything less than that, I try to avoid it. But you know, I'm not perfect. Is human people we dealing with, right? So
definitely, because like even with me when I do the podcast or like documentaries that I did before or the short film, right? I will always have in mind that I want to do it in a way that I want my moms to watch it.
Yeah.
Because my mother is a church going person.
Same.
And so I can't. The first short film I did had a lot of cussing. She was like, "Oh, I can't watch that." You know, and I understand. I was like, you know what, it's whatever. So the ones after that, I try to keep that in mind all the time. Like what content I put out, if she gonna like it or not. You know, even though I do put out some crazy content sometimes, you know, and it's like, but it's you that you think you have because you know that your parents.
To be honest, I won't lie to you. I really do. Like I have this running joke amongst my friends. I say I don't run around my house. I say I don't run around my house. I run my house in the sense that, in a very respectful way, I let people know this is who I am. If I advertently disrespect you directly by calling your name or something like that, then that's fine. You can have a conversation with me. But most of the stuff that I say or most of my jokes, it's literally, if it falls in your garden, plant it. Like I didn't say that person, Shanice on the corner or Derek or this one. I said, if you have X and Y characteristics, I think this. But there's a lot of people that would agree with me.
You don't know nobody named Shanice and Derek.
I know one
Shanice.
Shanice.
I know. Derek. So what you had to say about me on the corner?
I know a lot of Shanice. I know a lot of Derek. So they can't put me up with that one. But like for me, I just first thing first, I think most of my content, I try my best. If I have to cuss or I have to say something lewd, it's tasteful now. But there's a real, like I always look at like Larry Joseph and like other like comedians and stuff like that. They would say lewd stuff, but they always had a kind of class way of putting it together. So I always try to make it like that, because in life, you have to get lewd or rude sometimes to get your point across. Not everybody PC on like keeping it, you know, like all churchy. So sometimes it have characters like that in life that nobody tries to like portray them.
Definitely.
You understand? It have people who don't speak nice. They cuss all the time. So if I was to do a piece of content trying to mimic that, I have to go into that character and use that kind of language.
You know, one of my biggest things that I hated when I was growing up, when it came to like comedy, I shouldn't even say hate, because there's people that I love, but like watching comedians who you see on TV, then they see the stand-up comedy and they talking different to how you see them. And like, yo, this person does cuss like this. This person supposed to be like a father figure in a movie, you know. And being younger, I hated it, but it's something they had to do to make money, right? So now with the content that I try to make it like authentic, so that when somebody see me in a certain way, they wouldn't be like, oh, this person out of character, right? No, this person lying to us the whole time, you know? So I think like when it comes to paying yourself out there, well, Cordell lucky. Cordell will post on Instagram.
Nah,
he doesn't know what to tell you about. He have one
I forget.
Looking like a vampire, looking like a black blade, like Blade in the forest.
This man have picture since 2013 up still. This man wicked.
I'm not a social media. I'm just not a social media.
I understand
person.
that.
I just like I'm just to myself, and I just don't like being out there. That's just my preference. There's a lot of people who like.
If I really go say otherwise, they will say any man quiet like that, they're accusing you. But he's a good boy. I know he's a good fella. But they will accuse you.
I'm a child of the Lord. I know my boundaries. I know my place. But I don't like the spotlight. I like to work in the back. That's me. I will work in the background. I'll make sure everything is good. And that's how I like to have my life.
Make your money and go home, dog. You from South, you see?
Nah, but I'm from Shogunas, but
Sugar
Central.
South, same thing.
You see,
But you all say,
nah,
no, wait,
nah.
let's not get to the
Time
point.
out.
Let's not get to
Time
the point now,
out.
though. We know it is.
I think I need
Because
to.
No, you know what?
Nah, I think,
Yeah, because make one for me too. Make one for
I'm
me
tired
too.
of these
I
tongue
saw
people.
I didn't have
boy.
punch and fall it on. Well, if I'm South, I sorry, I didn't have punch.
Shout out to Boyne one time.
What's the next one? Babash.
Babash, I'm gonna tell you something. Let me help you with the geography in Trinidad. Anything past Caroni is central. Central start. South start from Marabella. Actually, I lie. Macaulay turn off.
South side from Caroni, big man.
Nah.
The big drain they have there.
Nah.
From
You
the pass-
South,
Once you
South
pass that
start
big
from
drain,
Gasparillo.
Gasparillo.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. After Macaulay flyover, South properly starts Gasparillo. Gasparillo is the beginning. Once you can see the petrol train, the tanks, yeah, that's South.
so you from South.
He's from South.
I'm South.
South. I'm from Central, Lord. You have to put some respect on Sugar. You know what? Sugar should have be a city before San Fernando. You know, I always advocate for that. You know,
So what school you went to?
I went Woodbrook for a week and then I transferred and I went to Couva Sec. So I represent Couva East Secondary School, but I went to Couva Government. They changed it after a while. And already on that name change thing, I went Couva Government Secondary.
And you do A levels there too?
Nah, but they didn't want me to come back, but
So you do A levels. You do A levels.
and I didn't do A levels and I went straight to Costat in San Fernando, South, Sutton Street, you understand? By National Cinema there. And I do my associate degree in
Cheers, fellas.
Cheers, eh?
Yeah.
Cheers, brothers. Cheers. Salud. I do my associate degree in information technology in Costat. And yeah, after that, I do my bachelor's and I was working. I always work. Since I leave school, I always have a job. I never liked that. Because I wanted the lime. I always wanted the lime. At the lime, you need money. And to get those, you have to go and work. I always believe if you get a paycheck, you could call some kind of shot that day.
Definitely.
For sure.
Definitely.
If you with your mother
money
and
run
things.
things at the end of the day, yeah, your passion is your passion, but
Yeah.
money run things. You do A levels?
No, I didn't do A levels. So I went prayers. I did prayers up until Form 5, and then I went Trillium. That was in Shogunas.
Yeah.
So Trillium is like another
No.
Canadian international school. So I did like grade 11 and grade.
So I do A levels, bro. And till this day, them calling my mother for me to come pick up my certificate. I didn't even know why I get dog. I never went for my results, so them calling my mother till this day to come pick up.
That
pick
is
up my
the
results.
equivalent of what? Less a
Dog.
man have A levels sitting up big my how is.
Dog, I was 34.
And you still have A levels sitting
from
on
the
the
time I come-
school?
let me tell you,
You
when I
should
come,
burn it.
hey, when I come to Canada, right?
Mhm.
And I went and do a resume, bro. And I do a resume, and I call the teacher in Trinidad, where
Yeah.
you pay your passes down.
Yeah.
So the librarian watch me and say, what is this? I was like, that's my passes. Nobody care about this, just put certificate.
Yeah.
Right? But in Trinidad, from that time,
Mm.
I tell myself, I don't need A levels, though. A levels is something that in Trinidad, we don't even need them. I don't even know why they have A levels. So I just move on, bro.
Mm.
Even CXC, dog. CXC, I get 6 3s and 1 2.
Serious.
Yeah, dog. And
Okay.
the guys who get 7 distinctions working in the police station.
Yeah. Tyrell's
like, bro,
For sure, boy.
pressure. I saw it.
Nothing wrong with being a police officer.
No,
Everyone has
it's
their-
not police officer. That's a cool one. The ones behind the table, boy.
Oh.
Oh.
Type ones.
Nah, I just find all the men who they was kind of ignorant in school, they end up being in law enforcement. But big up to all my partners who in law enforcement. I love all they too, and all they ignorant.
Yeah.
But I love all they.
No, but I feel in Trinidad, like when it comes to the education system, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, this is my personal thought, is that I don't think I like CXC anymore. I don't think it CXC common insurance and all them things. Because when they come to Canada, they don't have nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody flourishing and they have brain neurosurgeons and stuff from without having CXC or A levels or common entrance. And having a 10-year-old kid do an exam that determine the rest of his life, it kind of messed up, bro. Because at 10, they tell you if you fail this exam, you're dumb. Go with the dumb kids. But the smart kids from your area we will take.
Yeah.
And we'll pay for our dumb kids to go to that school so that them can be smart too. It messed up, bro.
Sorry, look at you. Remember what was freestyling about yesterday?
Mhm.
See the same thing?
Yeah. So for me, and to me, it does just help with the crime, bro. Because if you're telling me at 10 or 14 or 16 or 18, that I do CXC and I feel and as a I not worth nothing. I'm not gonna work KFC for minimum wage.
Uh,
You know why? You know, then you have people on the block who making money. Of course,
Yeah.
you want to go
Of
that way,
course.
bro. You don't have the guidance. You know, you don't have the guidance. You know, the government don't care about you, right? Because I don't even understand. This is a deep rabbit hole that I didn't even want to jump into, but I would say that I didn't even understand how a company like KFC could be paying people here $17 an hour, right? And charging less per meal, and go to Trinidad and charge more per meal and pay them the equivalent to $3 or $4 Canadian an hour. It don't make sense. The government need to do something better. Because you could be working KFC here and still have a house, still have a car, and still live decent, you know?
Yeah.
There, bro, you work in KFC, you get your paycheck, you go to the bank and something for 5 hours, you leave the bank, and then you walk outside.
Pay it done.
Pay done, bro.
You know, I realized that because even like, as funny I should say that, because when I moved here in 2018, my first job, I worked at Apple in Square One in Mississauga, right? And I remember the first day I started work there, I said, hold on, but I have coworkers here who like my mother. How them mortgage, them our children, paying for them to go to school? I say, I don't know much people that could be at a certain age working retail in a mall in Trinidad, mind the family like that. There's a very small niche window of like your age to be like in retail, and after that, if you're not a manager or somebody senior in the business, you're done. You understand? But people in this country live off of retail.
As always say, bro, Trinidad is the nicest place on earth, bro. To me, till this day.
It is.
Right? Even now, when somebody asks me to they want to come to Canada now, I was tell them, I was like, bro, Canada is not it no more. Bro, you're in Trinidad, making money, stay inside your house.
Relax yourself.
It's just the crime. It's just the crime.
Yeah,
right?
the crime rough. I won't lie.
Yeah, the crime that's mad, but
all them numbers, gang and thing, I ain't even with that.
But the same crime come out of the same is a system, bro, that they create though. Like when you think about downtowns, like Toronto downtown, and Vancouver downtown, New York downtown, any city downtown supposed to be like where all the money running, bro. And Trinidad downtown is a place that you don't even want to go downtown unless it's to do your birth paper or your passport, dog. I'm telling you, dog. I was making fudge and telling to teachers and thing, bro. I wasn't onto that. I wasn't into that school thing like that. You know, it was from the time I realized that I wasn't getting the grades. I say, oh, that's not me. I have a bunch of ideas I can do other things with. You know, let me try to make these better. You know, so what do you think is a misconception about content creation?
I think the misconception is that a lot of people feel like there's a right formula. There is some best practices, if you depending on the app that you're using. But I still, me personally, people who I look up to, people who I see organically do well, it's gonna sound cliche, but they're just doing them. The outworking people. It's just being outworked now. Content creation is, you gotta be consistent. You wanna lose weight, you want a better relationship, you gotta spend time. And not just spending time just running down trends, but be a better, not just a content creator, but a better storyteller. Tell your story, because the jokes I telling, it's not the first time people from Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean, hear these types of jokes. They're all recycled, but it's my way of telling.
It's your version.
My version of telling the same story, because the whole making the joke about the North and Central and thing, if we now pick up that argument, men been arguing about that since the 1800s in Trinidad. But I just telling my version of it in my time that I spend. So for me, the misconception I think a lot of people have is that it has some magic website or something, or ChatGPT. I said, you can say on ChatGPT and give it ideas, but if you cannot put your own signature on that, it no use to you. You gotta get better at being yourself authentically. You can't be, if you know you're not a bad man, don't try to be a bad man online. You know you're not a hot girl, don't try to be a hot girl online. If you know you're a regular, quiet person, just hold in that vein. You go do better just doing you consistently. Don't try to, hey, you know what? Next week I'll go be a bad man for 3 days, and then next week I'll switch up and be a family man for 2. And I'm gonna see which one go work for me. People go see through that. So, people will see through that.
So how you deal with like negative comments, bro? Like how you deal with like,
I just laugh at them.
Yeah.
Or I just get somebody to go in the comments and ramble them for me. I don't play with that. Because I tell people all the time, I say, you take your time. When I go on your profile, you have nothing substantial to share with even your own mother or father. Why would I take your comments serious? I'm going to laugh at you. I'm going to laugh at you in your face. Is that one person said me one time what she said? She said something about, I don't like this guy's videos. I honestly prefer so and so, so and so. So I literally comment on it and I add the same person. I say, yeah, I know, I like his videos too. I say, now how you feeling? Like a backside, right? I say, because he's a clown. I say he's a clown. But people like that, I know the thing is that there's the same children in class, they didn't get enough attention. People didn't make them feel special and tell them, hey, you do a good job. So people just want their attention online. Most time I don't give it to them, but when I have time, I just laugh at them. Say, yeah, I should, but it's cool.
You have a good father.
I have a father that's available to speak with them between certain business hours, yes. So I would say, I wouldn't want to, because I'm a mother, I'll keep him in good grace. I would say for sure, he's a good man. I can pick up the phone and call him, he would answer me where the Wi-Fi is available, but him and I have a very
rocky relationship. I mean,
it's not a bad relationship, I would say, but Caribbean parents, especially the boy children, it's tumultuous. I'm very much like him. He's very much opinionated. I'm opinionated. So if I have a view on a topic and he has the same view or something different, we will just butt heads in.
To understand that what people say is a them thing and not a you thing.
Yeah.
It come from learning from other figures other than yourself.
I would say for sure my father have a real strong character, but like he's a man, even sometimes like we'll get a disagreement. I remember my first line I always say, I say, well, you real different, so yeah. He say you can, and he have a famous line. My father said, do piss on his back and tell him it's rain. You cannot tell him what he feel he know, what he know to be. He stand by his truth, whether he like it or not. He's that kind of guy. So I had to respect him for that. It are real times I try to bullshit him and tell him, nah, I want to do this and this and that. He say, dog, you and money could do whatever you want. I say no. Right? I said no. So I realize he's a man, whether he right or wrong, that's up for debate. He stick to his gun. So that's a good quality he have. I can't lie on him for that. You understand? Plus he has some good music selection pops. All the 60s, 70s music I get that from me. Teddy Pendergrass and thing. All the young people don't know anything.
He's calling us young people and he's younger than us.
Yeah. How old is?
29.
Yeah. Dog, that messed up by.
Nah,
to say a man younger than we and the man is 29. Oh, where we is no boy, dog, boy.
Now, he's young. I tell him last night.
He was the young boys in United Cuts, boy. Them young boys is the future.
Them young boys is the future.
No, we are.
The future coming on.
They say, I had to deal with them later,
Yeah, so them young boys gonna be the change of tomorrow.
No,
boy.
Paying to get for the chair.
Shut boy, dog, boy.
Till you see, up until 50, I consider either young people now.
But even now, I
because
feel like 50 young now, bro.
Because people now, I feel like our generation pushing up to when we about to touch 50, we taking better care of ourselves. Overall. Mentally, we not taking crap from nobody. So we either pulling square we own and dealing with whatever we have to deal with. And when I watch some people, when they say they turn 40, 50, I say, when I know people who was 50 growing up in my area, they look broke up. Yeah. So I looking forward to see what I look like at the 50.
We take for granted, at the same time, how accessible entertainment is to us. And that has helped, bro.
Yeah.
Because our father and mother didn't... Bro, when you home with the kids, you was home with the kids. If cricket on the TV, I sorry for you though, because cricket was on for 3 days. Right? Now you could literally go on your phone and say, no, bro, I'm feeling to watch Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
And watch Dumb and Dumber. You could go on your phone and say, no, I'm feeling to anything that you want.
Yeah.
At your fingertips, right? And that's something that has actually helped you with your mental health a lot, right there. You could go and watch your TikTok videos.
Yeah.
That little bit of dopamine again has actually helped a lot, bro. So now you don't have to go and beat your wife because you already had enough dopamine that you don't need to take it out on she, boy. She's just a person. She's just a human that's been she alone,
People don't beat your wife and ladies don't beat your husband. No, keep all your hands on yourself.
Yeah, I don't know.
Please, I beg, and all that. But According to my grandmother, because I asked her one time, I was a little fast, and I asked her, I said, Ma, how come you have so much children? She said in the most nicest way. Now, my grandmother, she was a deaconess in her church, so she said in the most nicest way, she said, we didn't have much TV and much book long time, so you figure out what people was doing. I said, well, nobody dog. I have a brethren from Grandy. I won't call his name, but dog, the man tell me his father is a menace, you know. The man had to literally start talking to his father for 2 years because the man ended up tracking a woman who ended up becoming his sister. He found out that his sister. He father have a whole next family in Grandy, mine he family in San Fernando.
But my grandfather had kids with my grandmother's sister. Though.
What? Your grandfather? Wait, hold on. Your
He
grandfather
was a
had
police
kids?
back in the days.
Oh, the short pants?
He was a police back in the days. Yeah. He was a police back in the days.
No. Let me say
Them
this.
short pants,
No.
police with the long gloves.
No, let me make this
I was
very.
like, them guys,
No. Let me make this very clear. Anybody go in your house right now, and if any pictures of your father, uncle, grandfather, great grandfather is them in a short pants as a police officer in Trinidad and Tobago, you have multiple families. These men, all they had to do was enforce the law and talk to women.
Yeah.
Them men is the most dangerous of the police ever laid the land. Telling you, what them men dangerous by short pants police officers? All them dangerous.
And a battle.
Yeah, no gun.
No gun.
No
dog.
gun.
And them running up and down, but them running up anyway for you, dog. Them coming anyway. What's the downside of being known as a content creator / comedian?
Downside. What's the downside, right? The downside is that if somebody else may be a bit more viral than me, all of a sudden I get matched up next to them for some strange, miraculous reason. So all of a sudden, my stuff is good. Oh, I like your stuff. But if somebody videos a bit more viral, all of a sudden I get matched up to that person. Oh, but I think this person funnier now, as opposed to just taking it as it is. So the only downside I would say really and truly is just the being compared to other people. But they can't really do nothing much about that. Look how much cars have on the road. Look how much brand that car it have. Everybody driving.
Yeah.
Find what you like. That's why I tell people it don't matter. Like I have friends, they wouldn't really tell me they don't like my content, but I know the fans of other people's stuff. That is okay. That is personal, right? And for the one friend I know that mightn't like my stuff directly, I know 4 other strangers from 4 different other places in the world that like my stuff. I went to London in the UK last year, and I give her that Irish accent. He out to me, she's like, I love your video. I can't do the Irish accent. She's like, I love your fucking videos. I said, darling, what did you just say? You sound Bajan, but you know. She said, I love your fucking videos. What you do? I said, wow. I was with my big sister, and my big sister watched me like, she's like, how is your first time in London and somebody know your face? I'm like, I have no idea. But
That's just signs of your reach.
I don't find that is your reach, but people spend a lot of time on the phone.
Your reach.
But that's mad. It's nobody that Irish accent supposed to be like, come on now, what are you saying? I said, what?
No, bro. I mean, that's the good part about it, right? What's the biggest emotional downside? Like, for instance, like for me, I feel like as a content creator, you are a leader because there's a bunch of people who follow you.
Yeah.
Right? And I say leadership isn't something we should ever ask for. If you ask to be a leader, it means you won't be a good one. Leadership is something that falls upon you as you become a better servant. A leader is simply the best servant. How can we lead without serving first? It's impossible to lead if you don't have your team's goals as your base. So it's a whole thing already. But basically, for me, it was saying that as a leader, everybody see you as a leader, and you're not really allowed to be your true, authentic self, because people can't see people can't see your downsides.
Yeah.
You know, like even as a content creator, you can't post, you know what, today was a hard day for me.
Yeah.
So everybody see you as a happy person. So in turn, people think that you don't go through hardships.
Yeah.
And it's hard because when you go through hardships, you feel alone.
Yeah.
Because you feel like everybody else, I need to give them good energy.
Yeah.
And this bad energy right now, I'll keep it to myself.
Yeah.
So what you think about that, and how you feel and how you deal with those kind of things?
To be honest, when I having hard days, I just stay away from social media, to be honest. What I try to do, I just get into my own my own groove, just like do something offline, like talk to family, talk to somebody. But it have moments, maybe I would not post for a while, and I had people like message me like, everything okay? I ain't see a post in a while. I tell them, I said, no, I just making sure whenever I post is just something that, people could enjoy. So I just leave it as me working hard, or I mask it as me working hard for the days I just don't have nothing to give them for the day. But it's not like I said before earlier on, I don't think anybody is waiting like 5 o'clock on the dot. Why come when I post? But being consistent, people look forward to that. So if you're not consistent, you kind of put a gap in somebody's day because they're like, hey, I ain't seen no videos on this guy. So in having those tough moments, I don't preferably want to tell people because they didn't necessarily come on my page for that. But at the same time, it have moments where I like in a inadvertent way to show people that I'm human too.
Definitely.
Yeah, like little subtle nudges, because I'm not one of those content creators that cry on the internet. I don't do that thing. That's a real private thing.
Yeah, please
You'll
don't.
you will
I
never
hate
see me.
that
You'll
so
never see me
much.
cry on the internet.
Oh
Like
my
I not coming
God.
to tell you, I just get horn. And I will come and laugh and tell you, hey, I can see my wife in a rose fall just now. I think I get one. I will do that, but I would never cry and be like, oh,
No,
Lord.
definitely.
That's like a performance to me, though.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
crying.
If you can send me phone and cry on social media, then
Guys, you won't believe what happened to me today.
You're crying and then you're fixing the Zoom same time.
Yeah. Then you put the spirit lead me on my trust.
And
Over the audio.
if you're crying on the video and the video edited with text and font that you went and changed the color on and they're playing the ass, the only way you can post that video is if it's unedited. You just post it as is. You don't care. That's how I know. If you edit it and you're crying.
You ever did therapy? You do therapy before?
Yeah.
You see, I could tell.
Yeah.
And the reason I could tell is because you're confident in yourself, right?
Yeah.
And when I say confident in yourself, I don't mean I think I could do anything. It's at peace with who he is. Because I heard other content creators talk before, and they will always say that every day they try to do 4 because they want to go to the next level and next level. But for you, it's like, you know what? The level I am good. We're gonna reach the next level in its time.
Yeah.
And right now the focus is the people who I have.
Yeah.
Let me try to get them stronger, and by them getting stronger, I get stronger, right?
Yeah.
So from the things that you see and stuff, and that's why I asked you before if your father was there, but it's just the therapy.
Nah, it's the therapy.
It's the therapy, because the therapy does help.
I have a big brother though, so that also help as well too. My brother's like 15 years older than me, so he's a.
That's not big brother, that's a father, boy.
Nah. Big up to my big brother. He living in Ghana right now, Africa. But my brother, when I was like a youth man, he was in UE already. So he used to come and be like, hey, you good? I'll be like, yeah, him nah. You need anything? I'm like, nah. He's like, all right, see. He's like, hey, don't study that yet. That he won't advise. Be like, hey, study that, man. And I'll be like, dog, you mean you don't study the man? He said, dog, don't study. He going to work just now. He always say, he going to work just now. And you can sit down and watch TV, do whatever you want and thing. But now I do a couple of therapy sessions. I always tell people, if you get a chance, it's expensive, but if you walk this way for you, take it. It's good to hear somebody unbiased hear you speak. So if you're on shit, they go tell you, well, you know what, Akil, you're on shit, or you think you're wrong about that. But it's good to just unpack a lot of things, because I think when you grow up in Trinidad and the Caribbean, we just see so much things that we don't understand what it is we see. And the first session I went there with she asked me one question, tears just come to my eye. I said, dog, where's that one? I was crying and I laughed with she. I said, dog, where's that one? What kind of question is that? She's like, nobody asking a serious question. And she asked the same question, if you have a strong relationship with your dad. So I was like, nah, it's cool, whatever. Nah. And she was like, talk about that. I said, not right now, but we will come back there. She's like, yeah. She's like, I can tell you your comedy is to cope. I was like, dog, that real heavy, dog. That real heavy.
Bro, I remember being in school and you have kids who father just get killed, bro. And the teacher will look at them and when they misbehave and say, when your father was alive, you wasn't doing this. But they didn't understand what that means.
Yeah.
What that means is that he missing his father, bro.
Yeah.
But instead of being like, bro, imagine your father get killed and you have to go and do CXC
Yeah.
the next week, and then when you feel it, like you're a feeling. So all these things is what I realized that me growing up, I didn't realize, bro, is that therapy and that kind of stuff, bro. Because as you say, we see plenty things that we just learn to brush off. But I remember I went to a party one time and I had a friend that got killed in the party. Right, we was there, but we wasn't there because it was such a big crowd. It was like
back, yeah.
We always see the crowd coming and we leave because he went with other people. The next day I have a football tournament. The coach called me up and said, "Oh, your friend there, I didn't leave. The person who got stabbed last night was your boy, dead." Right? And we had to just go on like it was nothing, bro. You know, like your friend just died, bro. And you how you deal with it is like, you know, go to the funeral, yeah. We go to the funeral, and after that, it's like, okay, we can't talk about that again. You know, you can't go and ask him, boy, how you feel about that person? And like, no, I'm to you, boy.
Yeah.
You don't talk about no you feeling, boy. So you go and do something, and then But all these things, you know. So I was telling a girl in Canada about it, and she looked at me. She was like, "One, you know, that's not normal." And that's the first time I ever think about my feelings. You know, and so therapy is something that really serious, you know, and even like hearing yourself speak, like me listening to my book on audio play. I had an audio play, I just press play, and actually bring tears to my eyes. But I was like, I can't believe that's how I actually, I can't believe that's how I feel inside.
Yeah.
You know, because you're hearing your own thoughts that you right now.
Yeah.
You hear
different.
them, see it, and you're like, holy shit, that's how I actually feel inside. A lot of the times people think that, you know, you live in Canada, you're doing content, you're doing parties, you know, for me, you have your own business, everything Gucci. You know, you don't have sad time. But I'm telling you, every week on a Sunday, I just try to get 15 minutes to myself where I can just cry. I'm not crying because I'm sad. I'm crying because I'm understanding that to grow, you have to shed skin.
Yeah. Right about that.
And once you shed in that skin, it's a part of you that die.
Yeah, that's your unpacking we talk about.
Right? So then that part of you die, and you're like, you know what, just let me reset. You know, then you reset all your feelings and everything. And every Sunday I try to do it at least once a week. If it happens Sunday, when the kids go to school on Monday, I'll try to play like my gospel. You can have your different ways of meditating. I'll try to play like my little gospel. For a little 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and try to reset. And then they come back out feeling renewed, you know?
Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, because then you realize that nothing in this world will really get you that true reset.
Yeah.
You know, you're constantly living like that, you know? So that's just what I wanted to talk a lot about, because I feel like for you guys, people would always see your upside and be like, oh, this person had no issues like how I have issues. So people coming to your parties have issues. Like when people come to your party, a lot of the times they have stuff that they don't want to think about.
Yeah.
But and when they see you, they think that you don't have these things. But it's good to show that we have, like, well, not we, because I don't do the parties, but that you have that part of you that you're like, you know what? Yeah, we go and party, but we all have these issues that we go through and that we had to fix together. You know, so that us partying together or us watching your content is not just us laughing, but it's us growing and understanding that life hard, but,
real hard.
but everything possible. Nothing impossible to achieve. Right?
Maybe
So-
buying a house in Canada.
That did.
No, that real. No, I sorry to cut you. I sorry to cut you, though, but I'm not say anything possible. I say
No,
he
no,
live
no.
in the same country.
Nah, but
They may just
I
read
tell you,
wicked.
dog, the worst part is that all these landlords now doing podcasts about how to become rich. They say, so when you're younger, I work in the factory. Then you work in a factory. Now you have all these different properties because you buy a house when house was cheap.
That's all.
It's mad, dog. It is like Canada is the worst. Canada is the worst. I remember we went and to check a apartment, bro, that was 120,000 before COVID. You know?
Yeah.
Then that apartment is 300,000-400,000.
See?
No, for the economy to go up that much, bro, it's crazy, bro. You can't buy a house here. You need $100,000 down payment
Who had that?
for a house you can live in.
Who had that? I don't
You're
know.
not gonna make no money off of this house, bro. You can live here.
When saying so, with the OLG app, let me look to buy a ticket. Let me see what. Let me see what to get
That's what I
in.
had to do, dog.
Let me buy a little OLG and rock back.
as we prepare to wrap and stuff, right? I see you post a video, but I know you're from South, so that's why I think they do that. But you see, you had a video with your top 10 foods, where then put stew chicken dog.
Now, but here what
You
going
didn't
on, it's not something that I could have put in as a filter on TikTok, so it preloaded in with them 10 items.
You lying, boy.
No, that what the filter is, it will just run off on top.
You lying, boy.
You know what I'm saying? No, but if you had to do like a free hand list, me personally, I have pilau very high up on the list. Like if I get real, I have roti 1, pilau 2, double 3. If you're being real serious. Because pilau, that versatility, Mendo, I think people just real play on that. When I hear young people not on more, I eat pilau like dog food. I say you love chicken tenders and you love Alfredo pasta. Because you grew up in Italy, Sicily, right? These children have some problems. So I sound like an uncle, but oh gosh, boy.
Pilau was
No, if somebody make pilau, you are set at least for 5 days. That pot is gonna
the best party meal.
I was going to say lasagna, but that is not Trini food. I thought I'll put macaroni pie.
Definitely.
Right? But I have bacon and saltfish over macaroni pie though.
But what call me fan rice, dog?
You don't want
What about you?
In order,
Okay.
Our Kalaloo had to be on
Okay, here I was saying. Don't think about it.
Okay.
Just
Off
call
the
it.
top of your head right now, call 10.
Call 10 meals or just parts of the meal. Because like he could say
Just say
curry.
do meal. Say meal. Go meal.
Meal? Oh, I will have to say the staple Sunday lunch. Yeah, rice, red beans, callaloo, stew chicken, macaroni pie. That has to be number 1. There's no way around
I
it.
feel you too big enough because you can call a bunch of long meals. Right?
Nah, brother.
No, that
But you see, but you call a whole plate.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about items.
No, that's why I asked. He said a meal.
You call green fig cassava.
Left hand dumpling.
For me, oil dung is top 5.
You know what? All right, you know what? No,
Top 5.
it have. You know what? You're right about that because I think when I'm thinking about it, it have some meal. Take the scene. If you being real honest, I might have to actually pull pilau out. I have okra and rice higher than pilau.
Nah,
Big man thing. Watch me. Watch me.
You can't just
No. Here what I'm saying.
Saltfish.
With swordfish. Pigtail.
Pigtail. It's good enough.
No, but you know what? Here what I'm saying. Because of how easy a pilau is, that's why I on our official list will rank it high because of the versatility it will go. But a okra and rice is a pilau that get a MBA.
No, but you see, everybody can't make okra and rice.
I understand that.
Everybody can make
but
pilau.
when it's made,
I taste good white people pilau.
Nah,
I
but
taste
some
good
people
black people
pilau
pilau.
just be too dry, boy. Don't
Yeah,
like that dry pilau.
no, but okra and rice better than the pilau. Like if you get a good okra and rice and you get a good pilau, the okra and rice go mash up the pilau.
I think
okra-
we have to
you
agree.
see-
It go mash up the pilau, though. Be honest. No. Be honest. Think about the best pilau you ever eat and the best okra and rice you ever eat. If you had the option, you're gonna go the okra and rice.
I
dog.
can't eat okra and rice 5 days in a row.
You can't do that?
No, I can eat
Joking.
pilau 5 days in a
What
row.
about-
Joking. Baji, I'm
No, Baji rice. No, I'm talking compared to pilau, dog.
Baji rice, I really like Baji
Okay,
rice.
it is like you eat 5 days a week, I'll tell you. Corn beef and rice. 5 days a week, I eat it, dog.
Nah.
Corn beef and rice, corn beef and rice, I eat it 5 days a week.
A nice plate of horn beef.
Well, ramen is not chili, so
Nah.
I wouldn't say ramen. Corn beef and rice, I eat 5 days a week. I could eat saltfish boljol with dumpling 5 days a week.
Yeah, that could get touchy 5
I could
days.
eat curry crab. I could eat that 5 days a week with dumpling.
Nah. Did you
I
see?
could eat that 5
Crab
days
is
a
a
week.
once a
I
year
could
thing
do
for me. I can't eat crab all the
Once a
time.
year.
Why?
I find that's too much of work, boy.
Oh, yeah. No, you see,
It's
no,
real
no,
what-
no,
is
not
a-
trying to crab, not trying to crab. I
No,
think here, but I'm big crab that you bite once.
Yeah, no.
Trying to crab is too much sucking. Sucking so much.
What the Gandhi? I'm gonna get the Gandhi there. I'm gonna get the
So
Gandhi.
you got this small. Now I need some big king crab, dog. You know. Once I can eat fish boat, I can eat fish boat 5 days a week, dog.
Any soup could go 5 days a week. Me personally.
Once not sweet, I don't like sweet.
But you see, I realized online when I was doing that video, I realized a lot of people is spoiled children in Trinidad and Tobago. The people grew up spoiled child. I would say that to anybody. When I see people list and you tell me like certain meals you just put down and like people call pilau dog food and thing, I already know the kind of timing you want. I can't really take it serious. Like you tell me you are pilau low, but your favorite meal is a chicken Alfredo. I can't take it serious. Where you born?
They sound like
But what-
They're
what-
money.
where born, where
That's
where
people
born?
up in the West. We're not.
Nah. It's not even West people like that. It's just people who just have this. it has some things I haven't said yet on my own channel, but I'll probably say it now. I realize some people think it cool to be anti where they're from.
Definitely.
Like,
Definitely.
dog, it's like, dog, you real fighting to not like eat this Trini food, not because it don't taste good or anything. You just think that too Trini food, that too country food, that like, you too bougie for that. Nah, you're from Couva, darling. You're from Prisal. You're from Ticking. What's the name of your place? In South again? Laramine. You're from Laramine.
Most of the people who we meet in Canada, if you wasn't Trinidad, not talking to me, bro.
You know what's crazy? We actually had that
Them man pass
conversation.
me straight, dog.
We had that conversation.
There are some.
There are some.
There's some. I wouldn't categorize
Wouldn't all, but
No, I never say all.
yeah,
but no.
yeah, there's a few.
But there's a few.
I wouldn't say all. And nowadays, because of social media, it make it easier for them to accept we, because they realize that that's not how it is. But bro, when I now come to Canada, it was different. We had no Instagram, and I was remember talking to a white Trini girl, and I tell she, I was like, dog, if you wasn't Trini, you wasn't talking to me. She was like, of course I will. Then after the white boy was there, he was like, nah, you're lying. You wouldn't. Let's say be real. You won't.
You won't.
You won't, bro.
We don't lie in the same. We don't lie in the same circles.
Don't go to
We
the
don't go
same
in parties.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't talk to each
You know,
other.
it's like China's middle class and lower class, and the upper class by themselves, right? So it's different, bro. And they try to make it look like that. And when they come here, they realize, nah, we all in the same place, bro.
Yeah.
We all here. You need me more than I need you. Because of where we from, we can fit in with any crowd.
Yeah.
But you couldn't fit in with me.
Migration is make a lot of Trinis wake up and realize we's one over here.
Exactly.
I realize that. So thankful to the Toronto diaspora for that. Everybody drop the mask that they have one in Trinidad and they get serious up here. Everybody's one up here.
Yeah.
We no west, we
no west and no south. If you're kind of in Toronto, in London, we just Trinis. Red, white, and black.
Bro.
Yeah, Trini.
I
What?
tell you, bro, I think one of my favorite things to see in Canada, from the ones that I see before, when it comes to the people from Trinidad, was the people who back in Trinidad, like the guys who back in Trinidad, had to be like hard, like gangsters.
Yeah.
And then they come here and they see a side of them, you're like, holy shit, bro.
They meant different men.
Bro, you had to be. It's sad because you had to be something that you're not.
Yeah.
In
And now you're
Trinidad.
out of that element.
But now
Men
you tell me,
regular,
bro,
dog.
You normal, you play. Bro, some of the ones that I know is the ones who, when they have these gatherings, playing with the kids the most, bro. And you're like, look at this man, bro, back in China, he couldn't be like this, you know?
Yeah.
He's a menace.
Yeah. menace, dog.
but when you're here, you could become,
Relax.
you can really step into who you want to be, bro. And I think that's one of the best gifts of living in Canada, is that you get to see people become whoever they want to be without feeling like they're being judged.
Yeah.
Before we close, I would want to ask, like, what you have for your future? What you think you have for the future, and for both of you guys?
For the near future, yes, ahead obviously is like expanding the company into different cities. The outreach we have with the multimedia and managing talent and stuff, we're going to obviously put people in position to expand their talent within the city and also with the other cities you're going to have the company in. So for instance, we are looking at 2 cities in the States now. We're setting up the infrastructure of obviously getting your venues, building a team out there, and just drawing up the board and seeing how far we could reach, because we're not limited to just a good time. And as we said, everything is getting expensive. Money needs to be made. Definitely. So I would say that. I have this interest in real estate now, but I think that's still in the planning. That's just, I will speak it into fruition, but I think that will be in the next 4 or 5 years. I think that's what we're looking into.
Real estate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that for you, actually.
Yeah.
And so what's you, like, who you want to be remembered as?
That's an actual excellent question, because my grandmother always used to say, she said, you don't know where you're going until you know where you come from. I always remember in my family, no one ever really, everybody got old, like all my aunt, like my grandmother's great aunts, great uncles, everybody just get old and they died. And I always remember, after all the funerals, I always remember, wow, I remember so much about them being this person. And I think about that for myself. I want to be remembered as somebody who really loved where they was from and they couldn't shut up about the fact that they're from where they're from and go in a different space and bring that to light. So for me, if it's something as small as working on something like a business, or working on something that promote where we from or our identity in a place where it wasn't, for me that is a lasting legacy. I'll take that over fame or anybody know, like going place and everybody know who I am. But if I could say I pass someone, they say, you know, your name on this or you're a part of this, I'm good with that, being remembered for something good or a good memory, a good experience, you know.
Yeah. Nah, that's good, man.
I appreciate it, and these are some good drinks. This man had the best drinks here. I've been to many podcasts. Everyone them feed. Remember this one? This is a great drink.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I don't say this is something Alex Quest.